Olá, o meu nome é Pedro, talvez me conheçam como Batida ou não. My name is Pedro. I'm saying hello from Lisbon in Portugal, and I do what I want. It moves from radio to music to plastic arts. But if I would have to pick one art form, I think it would be dance. So I think it started off around 5 or something, or maybe earlier, when I started rehearsing with my cousins in our living room. So we would dance, we would perform, we would create our own songs, we would make cover songs. Now it's a project named IKOQWE. It's based on field recordings done in Angola in the 50s and the 70s, done by Hugh Tracy. And I'm adding beats on it, I'm adding my own instruments, and also adding like words that are very important for me. It's a great country to live, it's safe, the food is great, the light is great. The potential of bringing different geographies and cultures together is immense. But I would say that I'm just postponing to say what I have to say, which is in terms of culture and investment in culture. When you compare with the economy, the budget is too low. For me, it's interesting because you get to hear lots of things that are influenced by all the countries that are related with this city, mostly the African countries that were former colonies, like Angola, Cabo Verde, Guinea-Bissau, São Tomé e Príncipe, Mozambique, but also Brazil. So all these dialogues, but also the way Portugal relates with European music and American music, it's quite interesting. Definitely Alentejo, where I'm living right now. It's the place that I connect more with the place where I was born in Angola. The type of landscape, the way people take life a bit more slow, quiet and close to nature. I have double nationality, so I'm Angolan as I am Portuguese, and being Portuguese allows me to say that I'm European, and immediately for me translates into freedom of movement within the continent and being privileged. That's what immediately strikes me. If I would have to pick one right now, yeah, it would be Damon Albarn, and all their his universes and small planets that he creates to convey his creativity. I'm interested in most of them, but definitely the Africa Express project is my favorite. I used to hear like my grandmother complaining about it, like they are playing with something, like with satellites or with something in the sky, and the weather is changing. It sounded like a grandmother's conversation, but actually it was quite wise from her. Not necessarily the relation between satellites and whatever was happening, but us messing around with the planet and the balance. So as a person, I deal with that and I'm worried about it. You have to be almost like shocked with it and thinking about it every day. Probably even more than equality, equity, to bring us to a similar level, so we can be unique and diverse, but on a similar level, so we can have the same access and the same rights and the same positions and the same privileges, so we can be diverse and unique. I think my mother, as a woman coming from Angola, she was quite different from the local women here in Portugal. So the way she dressed, the way she thought, the way she was intelligent and was not afraid to be independent in that sense, not accepting the manpower that's always, like, still today quite present. So I kind of I like that. As an artist, I just try to reflect the times and to reflect what's around me. So hopefully through whatever I do and all my choices, I try to convey messages that bring those worries and try to bring some consciousness, the one that I have and the information that I have, and try to provoke some answers and actions. To be more careful with information, look for it and try to build a more well-informed opinion whenever you just talk with your friends. I definitely hope that uniqueness is more celebrated and that the freedom of each person is not affected, but at the same time it's not like oppressing and being shredded in the face of others. And again, going back to Europe, as a continent we are privileged and we have to be more empathic with the rest of the world. I think as an European you have to acknowledge that you are privileged. You shouldn't feel guilty about it, but you should take the responsibility and use it well. I think that's the best thing I can say.
IKOQWE.
Absorver cada estalido, cada nota produzida. A pele é alcalina, tem magia, pois te limpa de malignas células cancerígenas. Não pela melanina, pois de bichos és turquida e curtida, ressequida, estica, estica e laça fina. Pele estala, pé embala, num instante voa. Livra alma, peito embrasa, mente descontrola. Aceito o trans é bom da pele, o som revela o dom da gente com talento e vontade de mudar esta porra. Ainda que seja inconsciente, nunca é inconsequente. Zuma sempre quando senta uma elevação da mente tu faz. E tu não refutas. E apesar da insanidade que perdura, da encaputa da censura, o que se faz com amor apura sempre uma porção da cura. E tu não refutas. Na ponta dos dedos, na palma da mão, dissipam-se os medos e a aproximação vem naturalmente sem imposição. E quem era diferente agora é irmão.
Quem era diferente agora é irmão.
Escuta. A pele pra lhe sentir. IKOQWE, a bella tia, per aprender a amar, per aprender a amar. A pele pra lhe sentir, a pele pra lhe tocar. IKOQWE, a bella tia, per aprender a amar, per aprender a amar.
Pele,